Okay, now from rectangular pattern, so let's proceed the circular pattern. Okay, I will be starting again Autodesk Inventor Professional 2020. So let's go to our part file. Starting again, fire up my. Then I'm going to do a 2D sketch on my XY axis. So initially, I will try to draw a circle here, which is point on the center of our origin. So I'm gonna give my dimension for this circle as, so let's give it as around 100 mm, so that is an equivalent to 4 inches. Then I will be trying to sketch here a rectangle. So try to draw a rectangle here, then I'm giving it a dimension. So we have your width, that is, let's say this is 10 mm, and we have your height, that is 6 mm. Then I'm gonna give it a arc on this part. So let's draw an arc here, and I would like to constrain this one on the center of this line. So by using our constraint, so I can use this coincident constraint. So this is the center of the circle, then I will be looking down the center of this line. So try to move this one first. So this is already on the center of this line. Now I will going to trim this one, so I will not be needing this side of the circle. So we have what we have now is an arc. Then I would like to constrain this one on this line, so by means of coincidence. So I'm gonna click the point of this arc to this point. So you have now that one. Then I will try to remove also this line. I'm gonna trim this one, trimming that one. Okay, then I'm gonna give the dimension to constrain this line, so 10 mm. Then also the diameter for this one. Okay, so we still have 7 dimensions, so that's required to constrain this one. So let's try to give it a dimension starting from here going there. So by clicking on dimensions, so constraining that one. So we have still 6 dimensions required to constrain this one. Then I will try to view on my model tab. I will try to project my Z axis here, or let's say I want to make it visible, the visibility of your Z axis, so I can provide the dimensions for this one. So we still have now 4. Let's try to dimension this one also. Okay, so we are now 3 dimensions required for constraining. Then I will try to dimension also this one. Okay, dimensioning that one, let's say, so it will over constrain, so I'm gonna cancel this one, so it will not be needed. So let's try to see. I will be trying to move this one, so which part is still required for constraining. So if I will move, so there must be a movement. So still we have 3 dimensions that are required to constrain. So let's try also this one, the center, and so adding constraint will over constraint. Let's try to move, and let's try to erase this one. Sorry about that. So going back to our sketch, so our top view here, zoom in. So let's try to delete this one. So I deleted the dimensions here. I will try to coincident this part or line, this one, with this line. So trying that one. So we're looking for the middle of this line, then coincided with this one. So we have 5 dimensions. So adding the dimension for this one, okay, and also for this one. So we have their equal, so it's okay. So cancel that one. So 3 dimensions we have. Okay, so try to have this dimension. Okay, so it's okay already. So giving this one coincidence, so looking for the center of the circle, mid of this mid of the arc, so constraining in this axis, say axis. So we have 2 dimensions needed for constraint. The, then let's try to give a dimension from the circle. Okay. So from this point to the mid of the circle. So we have 1 dimensions left required for constraint. And also let's try to add the dimension from this point going here. Okay. So it still will be over constraining that one. So let's try also this point and this line. But still accept to create a driven dimension still will over constrain our system. So let's try to explore more. So I'm gonna cancel this one. So let's try this one, this line, and I forgot to close this one. So I'll try to move this one to this point. So I have noticed here we have a broken line here. So let's try to constrain this one to fully attach in this one. So I will be trying to remove the dimension for the diameter. See if we can solve no, the problem of our sketch and try to constrain this one here, coincident constraints. So, okay. Now you will notice here we are now fully constrained. So that is the one problem that we have encountered here. So careful by examining your sketch. So there are times that it will not there will be an open line, so you have to be so we need to be swiftly observant in our sketch, especially this one. So this is I would like to extend that this is one of the mostly the failure if you cannot extrude the profile is that your sketch are open. So you need to be keen observing or be swiftly observing the connections of every sketch that you have been created to make sure you can to make sure that it is completely a closed loop. So if it is not a closed loop, you cannot extrude the profile or the sketch properly. Okay? So we are now we are now good to go to making a rectangular circular pattern. So let's try to do our circular pattern since we have already our profile here. So I'm going to go to my circular pattern. So I'm gonna click my geometry. So I have this one. So we have your geometry here since you will also observe that my geometry is being highlighted. Now I'm gonna click my axis or say the reference axis, this one. So I'm gonna click this one for the circle for my reference. So I have here now created here for the six quantities of our sketch profile. So you can also adjust if it is 360 degrees, or you can say you can also have a 45 degrees, or let's say 90 degrees. Okay, so for now I will be using 360 degrees, and I'm just gonna click OK. So we have now created a circular pattern here for the reference for our extrusion of our profile. So don't forget to save us our file here. So I'm gonna save this one as save this one as our part file. Let's say this. I'm gonna give this name as a part 515 for our circular pattern. So I'm gonna click save.